A freezing winter night, -15 degrees, the entire city buried under snow. On the side of a quiet street, a dog sits alone. His body is trembling, but he refuses to move because he's waiting for someone who is never coming back. A small town in upstate New York, Hudson Valley. Mark Anderson, 34 years old, a firefighter. After losing his wife and little daughter in a tragic accident, he became a broken man, surrounded by people, yet completely alone. His house was silent, his heart empty. One day, he walked into an animal shelter just to pass the time, and that's when he saw him, a German shepherd. Unlike the others, he wasn't barking, wasn't moving. He was just sitting there, quiet, still, with a sadness in his eyes. Mark asked, "Why is he so quiet?" The staff replied, "His name is Shadow. His previous owner passed away. Since then, he hasn't bonded with anyone." Mark stood there, staring, just like him, broken, alone. That day, he took Shadow home. For the first few days, Shadow did nothing. No wagging tail, no coming close. And Mark, he didn't speak either. They just existed in the same space. Two souls, alone, together. One night, Mark broke down. Holding his daughter's old toy, he started crying. Slowly, Shadow walked over. He sat beside him and gently placed his head on Mark's knee. Mark froze. For the first time in a long time, he held someone and cried. That night, something changed. Days passed. Shadow became Mark's shadow. Wherever Mark went, Shadow followed. Mark slowly returned to work. Step by step, he became strong again. Every day, Shadow would sit by the door, waiting, and when Mark came home, Shadow would run to him like he was his whole world. A brutal winter night. A fire broke out in an old building. People trapped inside. Mark rushed in with his team. But suddenly, part of the roof collapsed. Darkness, silence, radio signals gone. No one knew where Mark was. That night, Shadow was different, restless, barking, pacing by the door. Then suddenly, he ran out. Through the snow-covered streets, he kept running. No one knew where he was going, but he knew. He reached the burning building. The rescue team was confused. The dog was digging frantically at one spot. One firefighter shouted, "There's someone here!" They dug and found Mark, unconscious but alive. At the hospital, Mark was on life support. Doctors said, "The chances are very low." Every single day, Shadow came. He sat outside the door, waiting. No one could move him. One day, they allowed him inside. Slowly, Shadow walked up to Mark. He sat beside him and gently licked his hand. A moment passed. Then, Mark's finger moved. The doctors were shocked. Mark survived. When he opened his eyes, the first thing he saw was Shadow. Tears filled his eyes. He whispered, "You saved me." Shadow didn't move. He just leaned closer, resting his face against him. Years went by. Mark recovered, but time never stops. Shadow grew old, slowly, weaker each day. One day, Mark knew it was time. He took Shadow to the place where they first met. Shadow sat beside him, his body fragile, but his eyes peaceful. Mark held him close and said, "You're not just a dog, you're my family." Shadow looked at him one last time, gently wagged his tail, and quietly closed his eyes. Months later, snow falls again. Mark sits there at the same place. Beside him, a small stone. It reads, "Shadow, he saved my life when I forgot how to live." Mark whispers, "I'm still alive because of you." And in the distance, it almost feels like someone is standing there, a German shepherd, watching quietly. Some bonds aren't made by blood, yet they become the strongest of all. A dog taught a broken man how to live again, and in the end, he proved love never dies.